Unbelievably, flooding is the deadliest category of extreme weather. You probably don't know a lot about floods and flooding. We'll cover every aspect of flooding in this tutorial, including typical queries like what causes flooding, same, where does flooding happen? A flood is when there is an excessive amount of water and it covers normally dry area. The science of hydrology includes studying floods. They are the most frequent and pervasive type of severe weather in nature. Because flooding can cover anything from a few inches of water to many feet, floods can have a wide variety of appearances. They may also start out slowly and then pick up speed. We will describe each distinct sort of flooding event in order to more fully address the question, what is a flood? Almost anywhere on Earth is susceptible to flooding. The overflowing water becomes a devastating force when there is so much rain that the land cannot hold it or the canals can no longer keep it. Flooding is a more common source of death and property damage in the U.S. than tornadoes, hurricanes, or lightning. Precipitation, or the water that results from rain or snow, travels to various locations during a downpour. Some of it drains into rivers, lakes, and municipal water supplies. Other precipitation evaporation and atmospheric re-entry. But the soil absorbs a large portion of the rainfall. It permeates the top layer of the soil and plants roots underneath it. This aids in giving plants the nutrients and water they require to flourish. Through layers of rock and dirt, the extra water is absorbed further into the earth where it eventually joins groundwater, a type of naturally occurring underground well. A habitat has a good capacity for absorbing the rainwater it needs to grow. However, excessive precipitation can result in lake and river levels rising and overflowing their banks or too wet soil that is unable to absorb more water. Furthermore, despite the fact that you might assume that particularly dry ecosystems would welcome a lot of rain, it turns out that the parched ground cannot quickly enough absorb the rain to collect it all. Floods can also be brought on by powerful coastal storms, swiftly melting snow and ice, and the collapse of barriers, such concrete dams. Even broken beaver dams have the potential to cause an overflow of water that the ground cannot absorb. Floods can develop gradually over several days or quickly overrun a region. A flood's formation time is frequently influenced by its habitat. Slow-forming floodplains are areas where river flooding occurs. These are huge, flat tracts of land that have relatively shallow banks near streams. When severe storms occur, the water spills over the banks and covers the plains. Flooding of this kind is not necessarily detrimental. It enriches the soil nearby with nutrients, making it fertile for producing crops. Because of this, many people reside in or close to floodplains. However, excessive water use can ruin crops and harm houses. By displacing aquatic plants and animals to other habitats, rushing water can cause ecosystems to collapse. Additionally, professionals must watch the incoming water to ensure it is safe if flooding is so bad that it runs into nearby water treatment facilities. A flash flood is a different sort of flooding that occurs 6 hours or less after a significant downpour of up to 8 inches per hour. Without a place to go, the rushing torrent will rip across valleys, canyons, and highways, washing away houses, cars, and bridges. Flash flooding can also result from quickly melting ice and snow, particularly when mountain snowmelt overflowing the streams below. Hurricane rainfall raises water levels around beaches, and strong winds force that water ashore. This is referred to as a storm surge and results in flash flooding. The flow in downstream places is determined by the quantity, position, and time of water arriving in a drainage route from natural precipitation and managed or uncontrolled reservoir releases. Others precipitation evaporates, while others slowly percolate through the soil. Some may be momentarily trapped as snow or ice, and still others may quickly run off of surfaces like rock, pavement, rooftops, and saturated or frozen ground. From 0 for light rain on flat, dry land to as high as 170% for warm rain on compacted snow, it has been observed that the fraction of incident precipitation that rapidly reaches a drainage channel varies. The majority of precipitation data is based on the measured depth of water received during a predetermined period of time. The number of measurements that surpass an interest threshold for precipitation across the entire time period for which observations are available can be used to calculate the frequency of that threshold. The intensity of each individual data point is calculated by multiplying the recorded depth by the interval between observations. If the length of the rainfall event was less than the specified time interval for which measurements are recorded, this intensity will be lower than the actual peak intensity. Compared to orographic precipitation, convective precipitation events, thunderstorms, typically produce storm episodes of shorter duration. Forecasting flooding requires knowledge on the length, heaviness, and frequency of rainfall episodes. Flooding within tiny drainage basins is more significant after short-duration precipitation. The land area of the watershed upstream of the area of interest is the most crucial upslope component in determining flood amplitude. For watersheds smaller than roughly 30 square miles or 80 square kilometers, rainfall intensity is the second most crucial element. For bigger watersheds, the main channel slope is the second most crucial element. For small and large watersheds, respectively, channel slope and rainfall intensity move up to the third position in importance. Floods, especially more frequent or smaller floods, can have a number of positive effects as well, including replenishing groundwater, improving soil fertility, and boosting nutrients in some soils. Floodwaters eliminate pests on the farmed area and offer much-needed water resources in arid and semi-arid regions where precipitation can be distributed quite unevenly throughout the year. Freshwater floods in particular are crucial for maintaining biodiversity in floodplains as well as ecosystems in river corridors. For a few years, increased biomass and enhanced fisheries can result from flooding's ability to transfer nutrients to lakes and rivers. According to scientists, the risk of floods is rising globally due to higher temperatures brought on by climate change, particularly in coastal and low-lying areas. Warmer water alters ocean current patterns, which alters regional weather patterns. This implies that some areas will see more precipitation than the soil can handle. The land will be drier in other places, making it less equipped to withstand rainfall when it does occur. According to scientists, climate change may potentially result in greater hurricanes, with larger storm surges being caused by more rain and stronger winds. In addition to greater snowmelt flooding the soil, a warmer climate may also result from polar ice melting, which may raise sea levels and intensify flooding. How to endure flooding? If the weather is favorable, experts might issue a flash flood warning. Although it doesn't necessarily imply flooding will occur, meteorologists nevertheless want people to be ready. When specialists are confident that a flash flood is approaching, they give a warning so that people can leave right away. Here's how to keep your family and yourself secure. Learn about your community before a flood. Find out how close you are to any potential flooding sources, such as streams, drainage channels, canyons, and low-lying areas. To reach family members in an emergency, keep all of their phone numbers in one location. Keep a 3-day supply of food and water in an emergency kit. Experts advise choosing non-cooking canned or dried foods and drinking at least 1 gallon of water every day for each person and pet. Throughout a flood, never wait for orders to leave. If you suspect a flood is imminent, leave right now. If flooding hasn't occurred yet, transport crucial items to your home's upper floors. If you are already experiencing floods, leave the area and go to the highest point you can, such as the roof of a home or a car. Never walk through floodwater, especially if it's flowing, so bring as much food, water, and sheltering blankets as you can. Floodwater frequently contains hazardous chemicals, sewage, and even dangerous animals, and only 6 inches of flowing water is enough to sweep you off your feet. After a flood, if you evaluated your home, don't come back until authorities give the all clear. If you stayed put, look for electrical system and appliance damage. Throw away any food that may have been contaminated by floodwater or because it has been sitting out without refrigeration for a while. Keep an eye out for snakes, especially around your home. They can be swept inside your house by floodwater. Before using water to wash your hands, make meals, or even brush your teeth, consult an adult. Water contamination from flooding can make you ill. That was for today. Thank you for staying with us. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel.